Hello everyone, this is Reed, and welcome to Storytime. I mentioned yesterday that I'm on a business trip, so I'm stuck recording in a place I usually don't. No big deal, but I'm also scheduled to work extra hours for the next 2 weeks. Because of that, Jake will be making an appearance for a video each day if I have to work that day. After these 2 weeks, it'll be back to me doing both videos a day. Hope you understand my weird circumstance. Today, we're going to be reading some malicious compliance, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. You want me to put it in writing? Oh, I'll put it in writing. I used to work IT tech support for a large company, and it was my first proper job. As such, I started as an apprentice. This story takes place about a year into my apprenticeship, so I still had much to learn. On this particular week, I was working the shift that started an hour earlier than everyone else, as in, I was solely responsible for support before everyone else arrived at 9 a.m. My manager sent me on a job quite a few miles south. It was going to take 2-ish days. On Monday, I informed my manager I'd be leaving Wednesday afternoon and coming back Friday afternoon, and he'd need to cover my shift. It isn't my responsibility, and I didn't need to say anything, but I thought I'd help him out by giving him a nudge. Me, Mike, not a real name. I'm on earlies this week, so someone will need to cover my shift Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Mike, cheers, mate. It came to Wednesday and I suspected he hadn't arranged anything, so I thought I'd give him another nudge, genuinely trying to help the guy out. Mike, just letting you know that my early shift will need covering for the rest of this week. Ah, right you are. Thanks, pal. So off I went on the Wednesday thinking I was doing a great job and keeping everyone in the loop. We knocked the job out of the park and finished by Thursday evening, so I head to the hotel and enjoy some sweet, sweet expenses. Friday morning, I head out in a rental they'd given me for the trip and start the journey back to head office. I get a call from my manager. Where are you? Heading back. I've just set off. I'll be back in the... I don't see anything in your calendar. I didn't put anything in it. I told... The finance director came in this morning and couldn't access the system, and you were supposed to be here for 8 a.m. I told you... Speak to me when you get back. The finance director happens to be my boss's boss's boss. Not a dude you want to make mad. And he was ticked off. Turned out his network cable had somehow come loose, kicked, and couldn't access the network. He sat stewing from 7 a.m. expecting someone to arrive by 8 and fix it, only to have no one turn up until 8:45, the head of IT, my boss's boss, who took a fair few expletives on the chin. I arrived back at the office as planned, expected, and informed Friday afternoon. My manager calls me over and gives me a lecture on the importance of communication. I tell him, I told you Wednesday I'd be back Friday afternoon and my shift would need covering. He couldn't even look at me as he says the following in the most condescending manner possible, loud enough for the head of IT to hear. I don't know, jam and cream. I've got a pretty good memory and I do not recall that conversation. Then sends me to the head of IT, who gives me a bit of a sterner lecture on the importance of communication. The word disappointed was mentioned. I go back to my desk defeated, my victory in the South quashed and sullied. My manager finishes the barrage. Next time, put it in the calendar and tell everyone in writing. The words ricocheted around my mind for a while until they settled and set and printed in my brain. I chalked this up to a learning experience and carried on. Fast forward a few months later. The words lay dormant until a bizarrely similar situation occurs. I was sent on a job for a few days and was returning, once again on a Friday afternoon, and it just so happened to fall in a week when I was doing the early shift. As soon as I heard about the job, the words sprang back into life. Put it in the calendar. Tell everyone in writing. Now, I could have put the details of my trip into my personal calendar, but I thought, why not enter it in the IT department's shared calendar, which the head of IT is part of. And when telling everyone in writing, surely that means everyone involved the last time. The IT department, and of course, the finance director. So I send off an email to my manager with the IT department, and just for fun, the finance director copied in. Something like, Hi Mike, as you are already aware, I'll be working down south this week until Friday afternoon. I'm on the early shift, so this will need covering while I'm away. Some of my colleagues asked what that was about, and I informed them about my manager's memory issues. They smirked and continued working. I complete the job and arrive back Friday afternoon, exactly like before, and like before, the finance director came in early, and unbelievably like before, he had issues getting into the system. Choice expletives were shared, words were had, but not with me. I only knew crap had hit the fan when a colleague pulled me to one side and told me why Mike was in such a foul mood. In classic British style, he never said a word to me, and never has silence felt so vindicating. That finance director really needs to learn how to plug a loose cable in, but that was such a satisfying end. Oh, you're getting scammed? I won't help you then. About 2 years ago, I worked for a bank, helping people over the phone. We started noticing a lot of scams going on with iTunes. People would call in saying somebody instructed them to buy $200 to $500 in iTunes gift cards for various reasons. I answer the phone one day for an entitled man, and this is how it went. Me. Hello, thank you for calling Carrington. My name is OP. Thank you for coming in fully verified. How can I help you? Entitled man. Hello, yes. I need you to unlock my card and to allow me to make a big purchase. May I ask what you're trying to purchase? I look through his transaction history and I see 2 $500 charges that were declined, and his card was flagged for fraud. They were iTunes gift cards. Yes, I'm trying to purchase 2 $500 iTunes gift cards. A man called me and told me I want a free trip to Disney. I'm going to take my grandson, but I have to send him $1,000 to pay for our flights. At this point, my heart sunk. This man thought he was going to get free tickets to Disney for his grandson, but in reality, somebody was just taking advantage of his naive nature. I knew I'd have to be the bad guy in telling him it was a scam, but most people thank me for looking out for them. Sir, I'm very sorry to tell you this, but we've been receiving a lot of claims with iTunes gift cards, and that is most definitely a scam, unfortunately. But that is why we locked your card, because we're trying to prevent this from happening to other clients. The fraud department detected a scam and we locked your card. This sends entitled man into a full meltdown. I had to turn the volume down on my headset from how loud he was screaming, in a store, mind you. Listen here, you dumb wrench. Unlock my freaking card now, or I'll have your job by the end of the day. Don't freaking tell me what I can and cannot do with my money, you ugly expletive. Unlock my freaking card right now. I sat there in silent and shock. I was trying to help this man, and yet he had the nerve to say all of this. I told him that if I unlock the card, there is a 30-minute processing time, and that he is responsible for whatever happens with his money, and that when this comes back as a scam, we will no longer be liable for it and he will have to call iTunes. He agrees, and I go through the process of unlocking his card. After he hangs up, I make sure to write a lengthy note on his account about this ordeal, because I didn't want anything to fall back on me. About a week later, I get a message from a coworker in the fraud department. He asks if I have time to sit down and talk on the phone, and I say, of course. Fraud department. Hello, OP. I have a gentleman on the phone that had called you last week. He claims he's a victim of fraud and that you advised him to unlock his card. Can you explain to me what happened? I was furious. You can be irresponsible with your own money, but don't try to blame me for your idiotic choices, especially after I told you not to. I calmly explained to him what happened and told him that he was more than welcome to listen to the phone call. I spent 5 minutes on the phone with him listening to the recording, and fraud department was practically laughing. He said, "Thank you. You can hang up now." And I did something I technically wasn't supposed to and said, "Have a good day," but I muted myself. He gets back on the line with the entitled man. Hello, sir? Most certainly. Yeah, what did she say? That it was my fault? You need to fire her and get a more truthful employee. I won't stand for this. I want my money back. Actually, sir, I reviewed the recording of the phone call, and you gave full consent to unlocking your card, even against my coworker advising you not to. We are not liable for this, as she stated in the call with you. If you wish to call iTunes, feel free. Have a nice day. Entitled man starts screaming into the phone as fraud department hung up. Because I was still on the line, I could hear him screaming into the phone as I sat there giggling to myself. I knew iTunes wouldn't give him any money, as I've seen it happen before with prior cases. Thank God I recorded that note. Maybe that will teach him a lesson on being nice to people trying to help him. I was thinking that he was gonna play it back to the client so he could hear how stupid he sounded, but that works just as well. You want me to use a locker? Alright, I'll use the dang locker. So, I work for a very large company which has some really stupid rules. Now, the problem is, we have a place where staff have to leave anything other than one store-approved bag. I've been able to wear a light jacket into the store before, but today, I had an encounter with the only security guard on a power trip who forced me to take my jacket off and go give it to the staff lockup. Problem is, they won't take anything unless it's in a carrier bag, and they no longer provide them. I have no carrier bag, so they wouldn't take my jacket. After going back and forth 6 separate times, they tell me, "Well, you have to pay for a personal locker." I begrudgingly did, only to be given a locker with a stupid combination lock that has a loose dial and doesn't like to be opened easily. As expected, I couldn't open the dang thing, so the staff member who assigned it to me had to open it saying, "If you use your own lock, we'll cut it off, but if you have any problems, let us know." Cue the compliance. Every day at the time I arrive, and at 10 p.m. at night, I'm going to go and have them open my locker. Twice a day for the rest of my time here. Won't make my life easier? Enjoy being my personal locker openers, idiots. Why do they have to pay for a locker at the workplace? That seems like something they should provide, no? Alright, that's all the time we have for today. If you liked what you heard, subscribe for more content like this daily. Thank you so much and have an amazing day.